Hi, welcome back. I wanted to hop in here today and talk about the money wound and healers. I recently had an experience when I was on a call just a couple weeks ago with a woman who had booked a call to talk about working with me. And she's a healer and she has lots and lots of education. And when I shared with her, we talked about what she wanted to create in her business. We talked about the healing that she could do in her life that would align her with more success and her ability to serve more people in her healing business and make more money. And she was interested in working with me until I shared with her the investment of working one-on-one with me, at which point her wounding was so triggered. And she told me a few things. She told me she could never align herself with that level of greed. And maybe it was just because she is a healer. She is a healer. So I wanted to talk about this a little bit, right? About this matrix program around money, scarcity, being a healer, and being a spiritual teacher, right? Number one, here's what I want you to take away first and foremost, is that if you consider yourself a healer or a spiritual teacher, your number one responsibility is to heal yourself, heal your money wounds. And as I've talked about in so many other videos, is that our emotions keep us tied into the matrix of limitation. And one of our most emotional experiences is around money because it's been tied to our survival. Now, what happens when you are a healer, there's the archetype, the wounded healer, and we are breaking out of that archetype. As a healer, I take radical responsibility for healing my wounds, especially my money wound. If you take a look back, if you rise above and take a higher perspective on what it is to live in the matrix and to experience money, one of the major ways that spiritual beings and healers, which are spiritual beings as well, spiritual teachers, have been held back is through the money wound, and making it almost obscene to be paid for our work, which might be true in the matrix, right? Might be true in a world that is limited and with finite resources. But as spiritual teachers, as healers, we are being called to rise above that programming. And what has supported me so much, and I share with this every time, I remember that moment in November, I think it was 2017, I was in front of the mirror doing my hair, right? Flat ironing my hair. And I'm like, I am sick and tired of money making my decisions for me. That in order to make a decision to live my life, I look at my bank account and that decides whether I'm a yes or a no. And I made that decision in that moment that whatever came to me, and I wanted to have that experience for whatever reason, I didn't need to justify that experience, right? That I would say yes to it and I would figure it out later. And this is what's so important for all healers and spiritual teachers to do, because if you are limiting yourself by this idea of lack and limitation in the money world, we've been taught that spirituality is over here and money is over here. And to bring them together is obscene, evil, greedy, whatever you want to call it. And it's absolutely one of the biggest lies that have controlled us. Now, had she healed her money wound, had she come to me in a more healed space, and I shared with her the investment level, then she would have said, wow, that is amazing, and celebrated that a healer has accessed her own worthiness, right? her own word, my own worthiness, in understanding the level of the work that I do, what I offer, my frequency, what my beingness is, right? She could have recognized that. But instead, what she chose was to say, maybe that's my limited thinking, and say, I'm going to play this small. I'm going to continue to play this small and be righteous about it, that somehow I am better than owning my full power, owning my full value. Because here's what happens. How you see yourself, if you see yourself as a healer, and you can only charge whatever, a little bit about money because people can't afford it, then you're actually projecting your own limitations on your clients, right? Oh, I see that you are limited by money, so I will only accept this much. So we're playing in a small pool together, and my willingness, my belief in my money wounds bleed out onto you, right? So I see myself as small and wounded around money. And so then I see my clients, oh, you can't afford that? Okay, you just pay this. So we're playing in the matrix, we're playing the spiritual game, but in the limitations of the matrix. If you truly want to be a healer and you truly want to be a spiritual leader, you must take radical responsibility for your money wounds and all other wounds and rise above this matrix. It's the matrix programming that says there's only one pie and there's so many slices of the pie. And when I take a slice of the pie, other people suffer. It is that is a total bullshit program. And so as a spiritual teacher, as a spiritual leader, you must heal those wounds and access the infinite intelligence of what money truly is, and owning your value, and that the more I receive, the more that is created in the world for others to receive. And I live as a beautiful example of opulence, abundance, living my soul purpose, and being supported in every way. When we do that, when you do that, when you take radical responsibility for your wounds and expand into more of your divinity, then you are actually creating a path for everyone around you and everyone to come in contact with. This woman was a beautiful example of the necessity of having this conversation, right? And the necessity to look at me and go, oh, okay, so is there a part of me that feels like I shouldn't be doing this, or I'm excluding people? Whatever it is, I got to take radical responsibility to look at what beliefs she may be mirroring back to me and move through that and heal that to move to the next level. So healers, spiritual teachers, the number one thing for you to do right now is to heal your money wounds. All right, see you next time. Bye for now. I hope this supported you in expanding your thinking.